Welcome to this look at a packed new mod map on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. This is Farm HOELLTHAL, the simplified version for console. Now, it depends where you read it. It's Farm HOELLTHAL, Barn HOELLTHAL. HOELLTHAL is spelled differently in about 3 or 4 different places on the Mod Hub or on the actual website Mod Hub. This is by Marcus77. Now, on the website, it says it is 653.86 megabytes. The console version, when you go onto the Mod Hub, is 476.66 because this, like I said, this is the simplified version. And the problem is, in the description, it does say that there are additional crops on here: carrots, onions, hops, rye, millet, sorghum, spelt, triticale, lettuce, cabbage, red cabbage, and poppy. We don't get those on the console version. It also says required mods: husbandry limit increase, placeable wooden fountain, crane building, and wood crane. Now, the husbandry limit increase we don't have on console. The placeable wooden fountain didn't auto-download for me, but the crane building by ModPassion and the wood crane by Kenny456 both auto-downloaded when I installed the map. A lot to get your head around to start off with. This is a packed map. I will try to be as quick as I can. Now, money at the top is saying 1.6 million. There's a reason for that. You do start with 100,000 on New Farmer, which I'm on. There are no custom crops, so that I'm saying about the crops thing. There's so much to get your head around on this. But productions by ER Shaba are available and already installed on this map. Let's have a look at the map. I know it's a lot to get your head around. This is what the map looks like. Now, on all 3 game modes, New Farmer, Farm Manager, and Start from Scratch, you don't start with anything apart from that little bit there that you own that's got a silo on it. So I want to say you don't start with anything. You don't start with any land, let's just put it that way. There are loads and loads of these which look like sleep triggers. They're not. We'll get to those. They're the production pack, so to speak. Now, the slot count is high. It's 1,015 out of 1,299. Now, we can get that slot count down. This has got a lot of hidden slots, is the best way I can describe it. Contracts are available. There are a couple of mods on here as well that the map maker has put in, which we'll get onto also. So we start all the way down here at the train station, which is where we're going to get off. We're going to walk around and look at these ones, then we're going to jump to the main store. But what I'm going to do now, so this is what all 3 game modes, this is what it looks like. Now, obviously, depending on which one you come on, this depends how much money you're going to have. Field prices aren't too bad, and they do vary. Now, again, this has got me a bit puzzled. It says you can see 60 fields, 45 meadows, and numerous forests. Well, as far as I can tell, 60 and 45 is 105. Yet the field numbers go up to 113. I think that's the highest it goes, up to 113, plus all the forested areas. But like I say, field prices aren't that expensive. You know, we've got some really small ones like field 100 here. It's only 32 grand, 40 grand, and then they go all the way up. The biggest field we've got is field 84 at 403, which isn't too bad. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, I think, all of them, all of the hidden points on the map that you can either buy as you go along, but for the purposes of doing the tour, I need to buy them so I can show you them all when we get to them. That's kind of the point. And there are quite a few. We've got one here at field 61. We've got, now there are loads of placeable areas as well. This was what made, prepping for this map tour was a nightmare, simply because there are so many of these bits here where you've got what look like areas that could have, you know, where are all the animals located, where are all the pastures and things. There are placeable areas and farms and things dotted all over the place that you can buy, and I've checked as many, if not all of them, I think, and most of them don't show up anything. So what I'm going to do is show you the ones that do. I mean, there's even some tucked up here, these tiny little places up here in the forests, so you can buy little plots. It's all very peculiar. So if you just bear with me a moment, I'll sort out that, and then we can get it going. Okay, so as far as I can tell, I bought all the ones we need to be looking at. If we click on here now, you'll see we've got a whole load of these bought up. So, I hope I haven't missed any. Down here, field 61, this section, if you buy 61, you get a sheep pen pasture. Now, we're not actually going to go to that, but that does hold, was it 500? Yeah, 500 sheep. Biogas plant here I've bought, not for any particular reason other than you can own it. I say it's standard. Both biogas plants only do silage and slurry, so they don't do hay or straw or anything like that. They're not too expensive to buy, to be fair. We've then got, as we come up here, all of these different ones are all different production packs. That one's for farmhouse trigger and chickens. As we move across, biogas plant here I had to purchase, you'll see why. And then here, this section, which was fairly blank, we've now got cows, pigs and sheep on. There's a hay loft here, there's a sleep trigger here, and more chickens there. So all these need to be bought. Now, this also comes with some very peculiar bits. We've got 2 sell points here, and then this whole area here. Now, this area has got cranes and, as far as I can tell, sell points. But when I buy those plots, which I'll do now, nothing comes up for sell points. So, but they are there. And the same, these bits here, you can buy individual sections of this. Now, I don't know if that's PC remnant things, because also at the main store, we've got this section here, which you can buy these individual plots as well. Again, we'll have a look at them when we get there, but I think that might well be PC related. As far as I know, I've got all the pastures and pens and things, but like I say, I may have missed something. And if we zoom in, that's where our start equipment is. Now, the required mods, the 2 crane ones, the wood crane and the just crane building. We've got various different cranes dotted around here, and I think we've got a couple. Oh, we've got one over here as well, which again we'll get to. So, as far as I will try to do, as quickly on foot, we're going to whiz along here to the first of the sell points. The map is, like I say, it is packed. It is really heavily detailed. The terrain is great. I love it. I like the layout of it. I think, you know, it's got not necessarily undulations. It's very hilly, not necessarily mountainous in places, but it's brilliant. But the slot count is incredibly high. But if you do like your production packs, it's all on here. Right, first of the sell points is just here. This is Betreib Süd. That's just here. I will show you on the map all the sell points and where we've been when we've been to them all. The next few are a little bit difficult because they're all kind of so on top of each other. There's a railway line and there's fencing, and there's no real easy way of getting around this first bit. But I do like the detailing here. The fire station is amazing. You can't use the railway, but we've got loads of areas like this where there's roadworks going on and cones. You can see why the slot count is up there. But I think for what you get on the map, it's well worth it. Is it playable at that slot count? That is something I would say, I'll be totally honest, potentially not. If you're on here with a slot count of 1,015 out of 1,299, you're not going to be able to buy a lot of gear. You might have to lease a lot of stuff. We'll get onto slot counts and equipment and stuff in a minute when we get to the store. That's your sell point for Ledley. I nearly said it, Ledley. And then if we go across the railway line, I need to find a gap in the fence. Actually, you know what? Let's go through this one first. We've got the spinnery. It's just around the corner here. Which is just there. And then we've got to the south of the railway line. Where did I find a gap before? Just here. Hop that. We've got sawmill at Agri LB, because that sell point there is Agri LB. As far as I can tell, it's lumber. I don't think it's a wood chip sell point. I think it's a lumber sell point down here. So where have we been so far? Let's go back to where we were. So we went from the train station, which is just there, out to Betreib Süd, then Ledley, then the spinnery, Sagework, sawmill at Agri LB, and then Agri LB. So that's these bits done. You know what I'm going to do? Let's just whiz through there very quickly. I say very quickly. This is going to be a full, you know, sometimes you get map tours that are 10, 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, some of the full 60. This is going to be an absolute monster as far as I can tell. Please stick with it. There's loads of absolutely cracking stuff. I know the slot count for a lot of people may make you automatically go, oh, you know what, I'm not interested. But it's a brilliant map. There's tons of forestry to be done as well. If forestry is your thing, I've got to find it. Where am I? It's a little bit tricky to get to, but here we go. This is by field 61, which goes off that way, and this is your sheep farm, sheep pen just here, which is, like I say, it's kind of hidden away of all the little plots. It's not necessarily somewhere you're going to drive past initially, but this will hold 500 sheep. We've got our feed trigger. I think the water trigger's further on. Wall pallet spawn area is just there. So there we go. We're at field 61. So what we're going to do now, I should have turned that off. We're going to jump to the store. And that's where we're going to start our map tour. So that's where we're going to start our map tour. We've already kind of started. So I'll see you there momentarily. That was easy. So, equipment and where it all is. Now, this is another bit. I really like this. This is very clever. We've got our fent here. This is what I'm talking about. Not hidden slots. We've got a plough and cultivator just over there. But the rest of the equipment is kind of on show. It's here at the store. Actually, you know what? I'll open that. I'm going to grab a pickup to go around the map. But so we've got the trailer just parked up here on show. We've got a bison harvester up on the concrete ramp. So as you drive past, you can see the harvester. Got the Fiat just over there. And then across the road, in a kind of storage zone, storage area, I guess. We've got another trailer just there. Scooter marker, I'm never quite sure how to say that. Just there. And then we've got a forklift truck in here with a few bits and bobs that might come in handy. Now, that's all great. So let's have a look at the slot count. Let's go to our garage. So 1015. All those things I just showed you and talked about are all just there. But all this stuff was previously hidden. All those plots of land I've just bought opens up biodiesel, boards, cheese, chips, flour, oil. There's a chicken coop, the grain silo we already had, and there's a farmhouse. Now, all of those were hidden. They weren't on this bit. You couldn't see them before. So they are on those plots of land. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Because if I try and sell one of those plots of land now, let's go with this one here. It won't let me sell it because there's a placeable on it. So as soon as you bought that plot where there was what looked like a sleep trigger, that opens up one of the production packs. You can get rid of those buildings, but be warned. If we look at what's available, and it'll be under animal pens, the only thing that isn't already on the map is barrels production. So you can place that somewhere else. I know this is confusing. You can place this somewhere else, but all the other ones, if you sell them, that's it. They're gone. You can't then think, I'll put them somewhere else on the map. You either have them there or you get rid of them completely. That's entirely up to you. So if we go back to our garage, I can get rid of all those. I won't get any money for them, and if I do, they're gone. They're off the map. Disappeared completely. So just bear that in mind. Now, the slot count of 1015, if you sell all of this and you get rid of all the production buildings as well, the slot count will come down to 909, which is a bit more playable, but you don't have the productions. So, again, just something to be aware of and be wary of. We've also got in here a modded small bunker silo. But that's it. There's nothing else modded in here. Those are the slots. 909 is the very lowest you're going to get it. We've got a workshop trigger just here. Now, this is what I was talking about. Each one of these is labelled HOF1, HOF2, HOF3, HOF4. And you can, these are the ones that I showed you. You can buy each of these plots like independently, but that I couldn't find light switches, couldn't get to come up, or doors or anything like that. Because I thought, well, maybe you can reset to each farm, or I can't. I'm assuming that's a PC thing, but that's just, again, It's one of the interesting idiosyncrasies of this map. It's an interesting one. The reset point is here at the main store, actually inside the building. So if you reset something, it resets in here, inside the building. So what I'm going to do now is grab myself a pickup. So turn that off. Right now, like I say, this is Productions ER Shabba ready. It doesn't say if it's seasons ready, however, the loading screen shows all 4 season states. So I'm assuming by that it is seasons ready. It doesn't mention precision farming ready either. From that, I would take it that if it's not, it will just default to the standard Giants precision farming map if you're going to run precision farming on here. Right. We're heading out to these ones to the south. Now, this is something else that's got me a little bit puzzled, I'll be honest. This sign here, I kind of translated, as far as I could tell, regional wood chip production in Bavaria? Was what I could. Now, weirdly, there's nothing to do with wood chips here. This was what had me a little bit puzzled. So that could well be PC again. We've got a working crane here, but as far as I can tell, doesn't really serve a purpose on console. So that again could be a wood chip thing. Now we've got 2 sell points here. So we went over to the store. Where are we? Lost myself. We went over to the store. We've just driven from the store down here. So ship is ship. So we've got ship Maria, ship Victoria, and we've got another one we're going to go to, which is ship Elizabeth or Elizabeth. Now these are the boats here that are on the water. So these are sell points to those boats. Now again, this was one that I said we can, weirdly, you can buy these little sections. So the crane is great. It's got the big grab there. It will roll backwards and side to side. The crane will go right the way out to the end of this arm, but it only goes as far as here. So it doesn't actually unload into the sell points themselves. Although what I am going to do is just double check this. But then it doesn't do for the other sell point down there, which has got me really puzzled. It is very odd. Why are we not moving? There we go. Tag place. Right, so that's what it's saying for the sell point for console for this one. So potentially this crane you could maybe dump into the sell point if it's here. But then we've got each of these individual bays has these. Again, that could be a PC remnant. Because each one, it's like there's an individual sell point. So we've got our wheat, our barley, I think, as we go along. Got potatoes and sugar beet on this one. So that's for the ship Maria. Then ship Victoria, we have got soybean. What else have we got along here? Soybean, silage. Now, unless these are buy points. But buy points will be white and black, not yellow and black. So yeah, it's a very odd situation. But there are 2 sell points here according to the map on console. Which brings me on to the next plot over, which again was what I said had me a little bit confused, because even if you buy those plots next door, nothing comes up as sell points. But if we go across there, and don't get me wrong, I love it. I think it's brilliant. It looks great. Each of these plots can be bought up in little chunks as well, which is unusual. Normally you buy it and it's a whole thing, you know. But I get the impression it's been done in small chunks. So if you wanted to put placeables down, you don't have to buy the entire area. Does that make sense? If we go and have a look at this one here, let's go back to the map. So if I look at this now, you've got that section there, and that was in 2 separate bits which we bought. You've got that section there, then these sections can be bought independently. But again, to what end? So we've got this crane here, which would allow you to pick up logs from a lorry and put them into these log holders. I know they have a specific name and it escapes me for the moment. And we've got 2 big cranes here. And there are some great features. If we go to here, you can put those down. So you drive in, got the grab, that has got tension straps as well. That crane will go right the way to the end and off the edge, and it can go right over the boat to sell into there. But there's nothing on here to say there's a sell point. Again, possibly left over from PC. Possibly the map will need an update because there should be sell points. It's a difficult thing to know. Because obviously in the menu I can't highlight it because there's nothing showing as a sell point. So what do? Now we're going to go from here and we're going to drive back up to the shop. When we get to there, we're going to drive all the way along here, all the way along there to get to these two sell points. Then we're going to go across the river. We're going to take in the biogas plant. There's a massive placeables area there, and we did do the sheep already. So I will see you over there in a moment. So we are now heading across, and I thought I would just, so you can get a feel for the landscape. It's certainly not flat. Some of the roads as well are interesting in that they do all seem to change, and there's really bumpy roads, and you've got that real difference between the main road that we're on now and then these sort of side lanes and tracks, and there's one-way bits, and it's very cleverly made. It's a fascinating map, I think. Of all the ones we've had out recently, this has been the most complicated to prepare the map tour for, because of how much stuff is on it, and also the fact because it's the simplified version. Again, there's that issue of, unless I spend another 10 hours on here testing every single sell point, every single bit, getting trailers, getting crops, getting products, and trying out whether things are buy points, sell points, whether they're a PC remnant or not. I mean, I suppose potentially I could do that, but it will be hours and hours and hours and hours before then I'd be able to get a video made. I'm already a good 3 hours into prepping for this. So anyway, apologies if you feel I should be. I know there's a lot to this, but... So we've come across here, and we are now at Kleiner Landhandel. As far as I can tell, that's a small trading place, sell point, which is this one just here. And then we're going to go across to Ship Elizabeth. He says, we are honest. Hopefully when we get to the top section of the map we'll get through it a little bit quicker, because there's a lot of the production buildings that we bought the land for. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. Well, I'll show you them all, and I'll show you, if you're not aware of them or how they work, we'll look at one and how to enable it, and then we're kind of good to go from there. So we've got another crane here, part of the required mods. Now this one, on this ship, again, the crane can pick up from that clamp and will unload into the ship, or you unload into the ship as the sell point, which is fantastic. But this one only takes, pretty sure, where are we, Elizabeth? This one does silage, is it? Wood chip and manure is the sell point for this one, which is an interesting couple of things, really. It's not, that's, yeah. I did check all of those things across the top, and we have got, obviously they're all in German, but it's all the standard crops we normally have, with seed is on there as well, fertilizer 2, top mix ration, and then we've got all of those sell points there for all the production things, so sunflower oil, cheese, flour, boards. We've got sugar there. Actually, sugar I didn't find. I haven't found the sugar production. Barrels is one that you can put in yourself. Yeah, so there's a whole load. Where was the sugar there? So I said I probably missed something. Like I say, there's so much on here. And the landscape as well, as you drive around, is packed too. It's not just packed with all the extras with the production stuff as well. When you look around, there's all the, there's the fallen trees and the foliage and the flowers and little signs, and and there are signs everywhere. If you stop and take the time, a lot of them obviously they are in German, but you can get a little translator thing. But there are signposts everywhere that point you in directions with the distances as well, which I think is brilliant. Whoa, careful. So over the big river, now that's the one we kind of skipped by going across to the main store by jumping, but it is just there. If we turn here, and then I think it's first here. So this I've just written down as Biogas Southwest. Now this is a really small biogas plant. Like I say, it only does silage and slurry. But what it doesn't have is a silage clamp. So we've got the digestate part there for taking your byproducts out, and we've got the cell point here for putting in, but there's no silage clamp. But the placeables area, which is right by here, there's one here. You could put a small one on there if you own that little plot of land, if you wanted to. But they're big placeables, and I have, like I say, I've tried to buy each of the placeables areas to see if there was anything else on them, any farm buildings, any livestock, and you know, as far as I can tell, I've grabbed all the ones I could have. As we come over the brow of the hill, you'll see massive placeables area, and there is a silage clamp just there. So if you buy that placeables area, there is a silage clamp there, and I have checked it. It does say fill level, and it does say compacting as well. So massive placeables area there. We're going to head north back over the river, and we're going to head up the western side of the map. And like I say, hopefully this is where we can speed up a little bit. I'm very conscious of time, and I want to get in as much as I possibly can to show you all. And like I say, if productions packs are not your thing, or you only want to do certain ones of those, then buying those plots of land, selling them, like getting rid of them from your menu, then selling the land again, they'll disappear from there. That's fine. Like I say, you don't have to have them. You don't have to do them if you don't want to do them. That's entirely your choice. So from here, let's head north, taking in the glorious landscape. There's some fantastic roadways as well, some great driving, little ponds and waterfalls, and like I said, no shortage of forestry. There's so much to do with this bit I loved. Come over the brow here, look at that. Another big placeables area up to the side there, that was another one. I did purchase it just in case a farm popped up, or I did think maybe there was some required mods that we were missing, but the required mods are only the crane building and the wood crane. I don't know why the Placeable's Woodenfountain didn't auto-install, but I do understand why the Husbandry limit increase didn't. So, continuing on. We are now in the northwest corner of the map, and onto the sort of production section is how I'm just referring to it in my head, really. I thought it was loads and loads of sleep triggers, and I was thinking, wow, there's loads of farms there, but they're not. Now this one, for the sleep trigger to be accessible, for it to pop up, you need to own this plot. This building is here, but when I first came to it, that didn't come up saying sleep. So I had to buy that plot before it did. Now this does have chickens on it as well. Again, you need to buy this plot. We do have the dialogue box here for our chickens. This will take, how many was it? 250 chickens with the eggs pallet spawn point, or egg box spawn point, just there. If we come up to the top here, this is where the feed trigger is for the chickens at this particular point. So 250 chickens up at this one. With a fairly large area for placeables if you want to put a silo down or something like that. Now this was the sleep trigger that in the menu, once you own it, this is the one you can sell. You can get rid of this sleep trigger if you don't want it. However, the other one, when we buy the plot of land over here, where was it? No, not that. It was, yes, this one here. This sleep trigger here, once you've bought this plot and the sleep trigger appears, you can't sell that one. That one is there for good. Just, again, just so you're aware of that. So crossing the road, we are at the first of the productions. So once you bought this plot of land, the productions then becomes available. This is chips production here, so crisps, potato chips, however you refer to them. Now I'll show you this on this first one. There you go. For putting into it, it's around the back here, but to enable it so you can actually bring stuff to it, if I open the dialog box and it works off the animal dialog box, the animal system. I go onto here, press X to move it, and then confirm. That means that production chain is now operational. That is now working. If I go across to my livestock, you can see there, that's now up and running. It's going to require potatoes and sunflower oil, and then it'll produce potato chips on pallets, and as we go. So I won't show you, obviously there's no point showing you how to do it on each of them. It's exactly the same. You click on it, you move it, you confirm it, and it will enable the operation. So if we continue along the roads here, the next one we're going to come to is, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just looking at my list, I think it's oil production. So you've got the chips production and oil production. Oh no, this one's cheese, isn't it? How did I miss that one? If I jump down one. Oh, I didn't write on my list. I thought I had. So we've got cheese. This one here. Of course, it opens towards me. That's where you click on it, open the dialog box, and that's where you enable it. And then the actual, I think it just needs milk. Now, these production ones, unlike the production packs that you install separately on maps that allow them, these aren't asking for diesel or anything like that. They're not asking for fuel. I'll enable this one as well, actually, just so. Let's do that and confirm. We'll come back out and we'll look at what it's asking for. So cheese production just needs milk, but like I say, it's not asking for fuel, whereas obviously the standard ones, if you get the packs and you bring them into a map, they often require fuel as well, and it can get a little bit complicated. But these, I think, are a lot more straightforward. It's just, unfortunately that slot count is just niggling at me. Now, normally I'm the first person to advocate the fact that most maps, even with a high slot count, you can still play. They're still playable. And I just think, because you start with very limited amount of equipment and machinery, I've just suddenly thought, did I show you, am I losing my mind here? Did I show you the fact you had leased equipment as well? You had the stuff in the menu, but these things here were leased. So the Fendt, the forklift and the scooter marker trailer, they're all leased. They're not owned. So just be aware of that. If we go back to that, that's our regular menu with all the starting equipment, but those are all leased. I'm not sure if I did mention that. So I thought I'd mention it now. From here then, we shall continue. And I think I need to take, no, I'm going to wait. I think the next one is the oil, sunflower oil. Obviously just missed writing down cheese for some reason. I need to take a turning just here. So this one here is sunflower oil. Once purchased and then enabled. Delivery point is just here, and I'm pretty sure to enable it, to get it up and running, is round the back here. There you go, just there. So that's your sunflower oil. I think that was right. Yeah, pretty sure it was. From here, I think we've got a regular old sell point next. Bower handle, which I think is like a farm trade. The other one was small trades. It's like a farm, kind of like a, not farmer's market, but a farmer's trade point. So all things farm related. That one's just here. So bower handle. Now the sell point is just there, but it does have that point there. Now I can't work out what that's for. It's not a buy point. Again, could be PC related, but that's your bower handle sell point. Actually, no, probably not a bad time to actually look at the map again, is it? To see where we came from and where we're going to. So, having done the biogas plant and the placeables area there, we came back across the bridge, round there, and came north, past that placeables area, up there to the sleep trigger and chickens. That one was chips. That was cheese. That's oil production. We're now at bower handle. We're just going to whiz to there, then come back across. That one is flour. I think it's flour. See what I mean? About being complicated. There's so much stuff on here. Now I'm going to cut across the grass because I'm a bit naughty like that. So, flower production, just here. Putting into the flour production, it's just there. I think it's normally just wheat and barley. Could be wheat, barley and oats, but I think it'll just be wheat and barley. And then to get it enabled, it's just there. That's the trigger to enable the factory. But then we've got this big old, what's that mark? Oh, that could be where the pallets spawn. Of course, each area will have a point where the pallets are going to appear. From here, we're going to jump the border, cut across the field, and we're going to head out. Now, there may well be, because it's a big map with loads of stuff packed with elements, you might find that's elements, not elephants. Don't be looking for elephants. The only thing I found that stood out as a kind of, oh, that's an issue, was this here. There's a tree in the road. Now, there might be floating trees and stuff. You often find them on maps, and especially if a person has placed thousands of trees, it's not unusual to find the odd floating tree here and there. But that one is actually in the road itself, so I'm sure that will get sorted. From here, we're going to the sawmill proper, so to speak. Now, as well as being the sawmill, this is also the boards production factory. Enabled just there. As far as I can tell, that's where you put in for your boards. So that will usually just be wood chips. And then if we come round, that's where the pallets will spawn, I think. We have got the sell point here, which I think is for wood chips for the actual sawmill. Now, I'm not sure if there's actually a lumber point round here at this sawmill. It might well be that the one that was down where it was sawmill at Agri LB, down the south, that was for lumber. This is for wood chips as far as I can tell. So, board production, wood chips, this is the sawmill. So, from there we came across, we've come up this track here, we are here at this sawmill. We're now going to head back down and we're going to head to the other biogas plant. I'm not going to fill this in, am I? So back on the road, or more of a main road, we're going to head to the other biogas plant, which is the main biogas plant, I would say. And this is another one that you buy in sections. The main section you want to buy because it has, obviously you want to be able to use it as the biogas plant anyway, but it does have a workshop trigger, and the workshop trigger is only accessible, only appears once you've purchased the land. So we're turning here again, roadworks and a few things going on. The map feels very immersive when you've got all this stuff going on. You've got all these roadworks and all these things kind of happening around the map. So when you first come here, before you buy this plot, this line is here, but the trigger isn't. So once you bought the plot, this appears, so that's your workshop trigger. You've got your sell point just there, your digestate just over there. But what you've also then got are all these silage clamps. Now, if we come and look at the map again, and look at what we own, so we bought this bit here, each of these can again be bought in sections. So I'm assuming you can't put anything into them until you own them, but again it means you don't have to buy the entire biogas plant to use, you know, 10 silage clamps that you're likely not going to use straight away. You might start off with some small ones, then gradually build up, or if you've got the money and money's an object, just buy them up if you want to. That's your biogas plant with workshop trigger. And we come down here, we've gone the next to the productions, which again you have to buy to get them to work. More roadworks. This one is for your biodiesel. So your biodiesel production factory is here. So you've got your inputs just there. You've got your point to enable it just there. And that plot over there, I think, is where your pallets will spawn, because that is part of what you get here. So you've got that section there and this section here, all comes as one unit. They're not overly expensive to buy all of these. From here, we're going to head up just past the biogas plant to the Kraybacher Mühle, which is a mill sell point. That's a standard one, it's not productions or anything like that, just a standard one. Come on, the pickup needs to be quicker. That's just tucked around the back there. There we go. Now we're going to head through the undergrowth. Now this is another peculiar one. We're coming up to a section which for me is a peculiarity. And again, could require an update, could be because of PC, I'm not too sure. And we're going to be heading to the Förderranch P and H. Maybe that's probably P and H, that was the English. And we're going to cut through. I'm just trying to think if I've got the route correct. I think I have, right. And then we take the right fork. Pretty sure we do. See you there in a minute. Okay, come out the other side of the woodland. We're going to swing around here. So next sale point is Förderranch P and... What did I say it was? P and H? Yeah. Oh, of course I'd go the way it says no entry, wouldn't I? And that's just a sale point. Now, Förderranch obviously is horse ranch. So I thought, oh, once you've bought this plot of land, you'll be able to... So we came from here, back up to Kraybacher Mühle, up here, for this one all the way around, and we came out here onto the main road. So we're here. So it won't actually let me buy this plot. I can't buy it. So there's no horses on that bit. So when we come back across here, which we're going to do in a second to head down to that bit, I thought about this one here. Now I'll buy it just to show you. Nothing comes up for horses. But I'm pretty sure the signposts say that it's a horse ranch. So yeah, not sure on that. If you buy it, nothing comes up with a trigger or anything for horses. That, as far as I can tell, is just a sell point for Förderranch. What we're going to do now is cut across country. We'll just see the ranch off to the left as we go. We can't actually use it for anything. Unless you've got a smaller... You might have a smaller horse one that it'll allow you to use, maybe. It's frustrating because it's a fantastic big building with a little kind of horse training area and stuff there. Right, let's take that off and that off. And now we're coming to what I'm going to refer to as the main farm area, because this is where the animals are once you've bought it all. Obviously, it wasn't showing initially. So, where are we on the map? We've come down from there. We're now sitting at this point here. Now, each of these are bought separately. So that's your cow one, that's your pig one. That's in two separate chunks. I think it's just that one you need for the sheep. Then that one there has got a hayloft on it, and then this one here, weirdly, is bought in strange chunks. This separate chunk here does the chicken coop, which you don't have to have if you don't want to. It's all a bit peculiar. If we hop the fence here, we do have a gate. This is for your cows. Again, it's not very clear. If we open this up, dialog box is just here for putting them in. This will take 500 cows. I think that's for feed, but I can't. There's no trigger for that to lift that I could find. Slurries around the back. Milk collection isn't clear, but there are some churns around the back, so I thought maybe it was around there. As far as feed goes, I think that's water. Like I say, I'm sure that must be feed. Feed, water. As far as straw bedding goes, there's nothing marked. And when you do get your cows, they will appear in this field here, which you can't get into. You can't open that gate. There's no trigger coming up. Maybe that's for bedding. That could be for bedding here, or that could be for milk. I mean, like I say, without spending another 4 or 5 hours, if not longer, on here running everything, it's a little bit tricky to know. I did go all the way around that pen to see if there was a water trough in there, but there isn't, so I'm assuming that's what that water bit is around the side there. So that's the cows. The pigs and the sheep are a little bit easier. If we jump over here, we're into the pig area. Now this one needs to be opened from this side. There's your dialog box. This will hold 500 pigs. That I think is for your bedding. And on the outside we've got feed and water troughs. Just there for your pigs. Manure point is just there. That's the point. There's nothing there for manure for the cows either. I don't think these open. Couldn't, which is odd. They look like they should. The detailing inside, but I couldn't find a trigger for these either. And then from here, actually we'll go across this way. I was going to go in the pickup, but probably easy to jump across. We've got the sheep. Now this is quite cool as well, because when we come into here, we've got the sheep pen over here. Again, this is fairly straightforward, this one, which makes life a little bit easier. Open the door at this end. We have got Dialogue box. This will hold 500 sheep. Feed and water down the side there with the wall pallet spawn point. I think it's just around the corner there. We've got this hayloft building here. Now this does open. What we do have in here is this cool one. I'm trying to think what map this was on. We do have lighting. There was a light switch here. Where was that? There we go. We come over to here. This gate open and gate close. Press circle. Of course you would. You're not going to work now, are you? Seriously, come on. That's for that one. I don't want that one. Oh, there we go. So you can put bales and stuff on there. Take them up to the top. You can probably put a skid steer loader on that and get up here as well. Now obviously there is that lip there, so getting a skid steer loader might be a little bit trickier, maybe smaller bales and stuff. But anyway, you can do it. It does have a workable hayloft lift. I think it's a nice little touch there. Very cool. That's the sheep. Back to the pickup. Go, go, go. So much to fit in. Come on. From here, if you've bought the little plot that's got the hayloft, as far as I can tell, it's a standard in-game hayloft. So it'll do hay, it'll do straw, and it's 250,000 litres. I couldn't find any details. I'm going to cut across there actually. That's this little one here. That's putting in, taking out is down the other side. I'll double check. I don't think anything comes up on here. No. That's your hayloft. And then we've got past little water source here. The other farm with the trigger that won't sell. And this was the little green bit you started off with at the very start, was just where this silo is. That's the small silo, 250,000 litre capacity and a standard crop type, so it's not a multi-fruit silo. There's the small silage clamp there. Farmhouse with sleep trigger. If we go inside, the sleep trigger should come up. There we go, sleep. Not tied yet, but that's where you can sleep. And then strangely, what you didn't have purchased was this little bit here and this here. So dialogue box for your chickens is there, and that will hold 150 chickens at this one. The feed trigger is just there for feed, and as far as I can tell, that's where your egg boxes are going to spawn, in here. So that's kind of bought separately. It's very peculiar. If we check on here, you might just be able to see it. I can click on it. There you go. That section there is the chicken bit, which takes in that little bit there, which is where we're standing, which I think is where the egg boxes spawn, which is this bit here. So that's kind of a main farm area. Again, this yard can be bought in a couple of sections. There's some nice flat bits, so you should be okay for some placeables if you want to place them. It looks like a water point in the back corner as well. From here, don't worry, last couple, I promise. From here, we are going to the animal dealer and tier handler, which is animal handler. It's the tier handler sell point and the animal dealer. So tier handler is a sell point just there. We've then got our livestock market animal dealer trigger just there. And then one that's not marked on here again, I'm assuming it may need an update, but it does say it's marked there. It does say up on the side there, hay, straw, silage and grass. I think that's a bale sell point as far as I can tell, but it's not showing on the map as a sell point. That's just there. Then across the road we come to Baywa, which is the last of the sell points we're going to be looking at. And again, apologies if I've missed something. I may have missed a pasture, there may be a cow pasture, there may be another production thing. Yeah, the sugar one. I haven't found the sugar mill. Normally you take your sugar beet and sugar cane if you've got it, but I couldn't see. Let me just double check this. There's not another house. Did that one? I'm looking for another house that might be on here. Can't seem to see one that I might have missed. Then we'll whiz in here. Now, we've got buy points. I did test this with the trailer. We've got a line buy point there. We've got a seed buy point there. We've got the sell point around the back here for Baywa, which is that one there. Hang on, this isn't the sugar factory, is it? Don't think so. Let's double check that. Where are we? Can I buy that? No. No, maybe not. So yeah, a couple of buy points and the sell point round the back at Baywa. So we came from here, all of the animals, across the road, hayloft, little farm area, animal dealer, tier handler, Baywa, and then if we head back down, it takes us back to the shop. I'm sorry if it's been overly complicated. I didn't make the map. I'm just looking at it, and like I say, if I've missed stuff, I do apologise. But that's by Marcus77. Take it as you will. I wasn't joking about being packed. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.